And number 9, the answer is 8. Most of you got 8, right, for that problem? You all okay with that? Okay. All you got to do is get the sum of the two bases, 25 plus x. You get half of that, and that gives you the mid-segment, which is 16.7. Then you can cross multiply. 16.5 times 2 is 33. Subtract the 25, and that gives you the 8. Okay, that's all you got to do. Now, number 10. In number 10, this problem, notice that it has a lot of items. So more than likely, you're going to have a lot of points in this problem on the test, at least 5 points. Okay, so you need to know your distance formula. So if you don't know the distance formula, make sure you know the distance formula. So d equals the square root of x of 2 minus x of 1 quantity squared plus y of 2 minus y1 quantity squared. Then you label the points G and E, x1, y1, x2, y2. Plug them into the formula. Then be careful. Just get the inside, put it in the calculator, then simplify that. So the inside of the radical is 36, and the square root of 36, that is 6. The same thing with DF, that was 6. So with the distance of the diagonals, we can say that this is a what?
Oh, that's a rectangle.
A rectangle, because rectangles have diagonals or congruent. So far we know that it's a rectangle. Now with the slope, make sure you know the formula for the slope. And the formula for the slope is y sub 2 minus y sub 1 divided by x of 2 minus x of 1. That's right. So you plug in the numbers, simplify. So it's negative 6 over 0, or undefined. As you know, the slope of an undefined, it's a vertical line. Okay? And then for the slope of df, is 0 over 6, which is 0. And the slope of a 0 line, the line that has a 0 slope, that is a horizontal. So vertical, horizontal, are those perpendicular? Yes, so that is enough to say that this is a what?
That is a rhombus.
It's a rhombus, because in a rhombus, diagonals are perpendicular. So this is a rectangle, this is a rhombus, and if the midpoint, make sure you know the formula for the midpoint, okay, is the same, then we can say that this is a square. So it's a square, a rectangle, and a rhombus is the three of them.
So squared deals with the midpoint?
You could use the midpoint to prove that, in fact, it is. You don't really have to. With the first two steps, diagonals and the slope, is good enough. That would be enough to prove that it's a square. Okay? But this has a midpoint because in section, I think it was 6.4, where they introduced this and they said, let's get the midpoint just to prove, to double check. Yeah. But in 6.5, 6.6, you didn't have to.
Yes. Because one of them instead of a 12, then it's automatically a square.
Right.
Good.
Yes.
So like if we didn't do like number 10, like it's minus 18 or minus 2, minus 6.
Minus 14.
14.
Because it's 2 points in each one of the answers. Yes. Now, number 11, the answer for 11 is a decagon. Make sure you review the names. Three-sided is triangle 4, quadrilateral 5, pentagon 6, hexagon 7, heptagon, H-E-P-T, heptagon 8, octagon 9, nonagon 10, decagon 11, and decagon, or like a uno, UN, undecagon. Undecagon. And 12? Dodecagon. Do from dos, Latin, dos, do. Deca, 10. So it's 12 is dodecagon. Okay, so at least remember those 12, please. You don't need to know from 13 and on. Number 12. Now also a polygon, it's an enclosed figure composed of all sides. So if you have a curve, semicircle, something like that, that's not a polygon. Okay, so poly, many, gon, sides. So it's got to have sides, not curved sections. Okay. Now number 12, make sure you review the formula. N minus 2 times 180 divided by n, and you memorize that. That's for the interior angles. For an interior angle, you got to use that formula. So it's 30 minus 2 times 180 divided by 30 is 168. And you also need to know the formula for the exterior angle. You want to know one outside angle? 360 divided by n. So it's
That's the
360
only exterior angle.
exterior angle formula, yes. So it's 360 divided by 6 is 60 degrees. Then number 14. 14, this is given as a rhombus. So rhombus means that its diagonals are perpendicular and opposite angles are congruent and diagonals bisect the opposite angles. So if one angle is 32, the other is 32, and angle 1 is 32. Then since it's a right angle, 32 and angle 2 are complementary, right? So complement of 32, and that would give you 58. That's right. So 90 minus 32 gives you angle 2, which is 58. And angle 3 is inside, it's just 90.
And the rhombus is angle C and F right to each other.
Angle C and angle F is congruent. Yeah, they're congruent. And D is congruent to G. Yes. Okay, now on number 17 and 18, this is a square, which means that all the angles are right angles. The diagonals are perpendicular, 90-degree angles. The diagonals are congruent and they bisect each other. So all those pieces are congruent and all the sides are congruent. So if these two pieces are congruent, so it's the 90 degrees, cut it in half, so it's 45, 45. So the answer for 17 is 45, 18 is 90.
Yes.
Math.
Are we allowed to make like a formula chart?
No, you're not. And just because on the ACT, you're not allowed to bring anything with you. And when you take the pre-calculus and calculus class, if you ask your sister, she will tell you that she needs to know everything by memory. So this is like the beginning of what you need to make sure that you learn. So make sure you study that tonight, please. Yes. Okay, number 19. On a trapezoid, if it's an isosceles trapezoid in particular, the base angles are congruent. Right, those two are congruent, these two are congruent. And also, if it's isosceles, since these two sides are congruent, you know, this is congruent, but also the sides are parallel, and if this is a transversal, those two angles are supplementary because they're consecutive interior or same side interior. So if angle C is 100, angle B would be 80. So 80, 80, 100 are the answers. And then number 22 through 26, make sure you memorize those. 22 is C, 23 is E, 24 is F, 25 is G, 26 is A. Yes, I do. And I have also, it's not only 5, it's about 10, where I just, you know, switch them in a little way, but it's the same idea. Okay? So, next.